Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The African American Heritage Initiative Council is now in order, and we will begin with roll call.
Hi, everyone. All right. Vice Chair Penn.
Present.
Ms. Dark has requested an excused absence. Mr. Dara.
Speaking. I'm present.
Okay. Mr. Fulton. Seeing him.
He's on mute. Mr. Fulton, you're on mute.
I'm present.
Okay. Ms. Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Scales.
Present.
Ms. Fela Gomez.
Present.
Okay. Ms. Williams. And Ms. Wilson.
Present.
All right, let's review our March minutes for 2021.
Vice Chair Penn,
Yes.
could you do a roll call vote, please, to excuse the requested excused absence that you had?
All right, Mr. William Fulton.
Here.
Vice Chair Penn, you would need someone to make a motion
Oh, okay.
approve that request for excused absence.
All right. Can we get a motion to approve the excused absences?
I move that we approve the excused absences to Ned Wilson.
And so you would need a second.
Now, can we review the minutes?
Oh, you would need a second for the.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Scales.
And now, Vice Chair Penn, you would need to ask for a roll call vote.
Okay. Okay, can I get a roll call vote?
Would you like to do the roll call, Vice Chair Penn, or would you like for Carlin to do it?
Carlin is good.
Okay.
Vice Chair Penn.
Aye.
Mr. Dara.
Aye.
Mr. Fulton.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Abstain because I was not present for the last meeting.
Okay. Mr. Scales.
Aye.
Ms. Fela Gomez.
Aye.
And Ms. Wilson.
Aye.
Our March meeting of 2021 has been moved and properly second. I think.
That was you all were just voting on excusing or approving the excused absence request that we had
Okay.
for this month.
Okay. For the two absences for April, a motion was made and properly second.
And I think you only had one excused absence request, if I'm not mistaken. Carlin, is that correct?
Ms. Dark.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, for that one.
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing the minutes from the last meeting. I need to stop multitasking. I was on the phone. So let me change my vote to approve to yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we review our March minutes now.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to review our March minutes for 2021. Are there any corrections or additions? If not, we need to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the March meeting.
I second it.
Second.
All right, thank you. Next, we have on our agenda.
Need to vote.
Oh,
Roll call vote.
okay, all right.
Vice Chair Penn.
Yes.
Mr. Dura?
I abstained because I wasn't a member at that time.
Mr. Fulton? Mr. Fulton?
Aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. Scales?
Aye.
Ms. Villa Gomez?
Abstain.
And Ms. Wilson?
Aye.
So our minutes for March have been properly moved and properly seconded.
Vice Chair Penn, could I have Carlin to make sure that you had enough votes to approve the March minutes, because we had several abstentions?
Okay.
I think, is that correct, Carlin?
I have 4.
4. Okay, so that is not a majority. However, at that time for the AAHI committee composition, I do believe that would have been a majority. That would have been a simple majority.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tentatively say that they probably still pass, but we're going to double check just to make sure that we're following Robert's rules on that.
So our minutes for March are approved.
Tentatively, yes.
Tentatively, all right. So we can move on. All right. So we don't need to do a roll call or anything like that.
Not for that item.
Okay, so next on the agenda, the introduction of our new members. And we have the introduction of our new members and the AAHI officers.
So Vice Chair Penn, I would suggest that perhaps you have the new members to self-introduce.
That would be good. All right, let's have Miss Cynthia.
Hello.
You can introduce yourself and say whatever you need to say or want to say.
Thank you, Ms. Penn. I'm Cynthia Villagomez, Associate Professor and Program Coordinator of History at Winston-Salem State University, where I've taught for about 15 or 16 years. I recently stepped away as chair of the Department of History, Politics, and Social Justice, and I'm in charge of our history curriculum. So I'm extremely honored to be on this committee.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Mr. Dura, you may introduce yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm Robert Dura. Both my parents were teachers in the Winston-Salem County schools for 20 years or more. And I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force, a nuclear missile launcher officer formerly, and have been in Winston-Salem on this time since 2004. And I'm really pleased to be on the committee. My mother kept everything that she ever saw that had anything to do with Winston-Salem or people who lived in Winston-Salem. And so just going to be a matter of time before I could get down in the basement and start pulling some of that stuff out. She even has stuff from Safe Bus.
That's good.
When it was first founded. So I'm looking forward to working inside the community and working with you guys to advance what people actually know about African Americans and what they've contributed to Forsyth County and Winston-Salem. So thank you for having me.
Welcome.
And Vice Chair Penn may want to have the veteran members of the AAHI to just briefly self-introduce for the benefit of the 2 new members.
Okay, we can start with Ms. Jocelyn Johnson. If she's available.
I'm present. Jocelyn Johnson, work at the medical center and the graduate medical education office. Formerly served as city council member for several years, and have a strong interest in our history because there are times when what's considered to be Black for others is historic, and there's a need to help individuals understand that while there are some challenges in some of our communities, there's also historic character there, as well as a number of people who have made contributions. So how we find ways to share that, that's what it's all about.
Mr. Scales.
Don Scales, living 401 precinct, Winston-Salem, part of the AAH from the start of its existence. And that's me, Mr. Duro.
All right, Miss Annette Wilson.
Hi, I grew up in East Winston and a native of Winston. Currently live out near the Carver area. And of course, I'm very interested in preserving the history of and contributions of African Americans in our community. And I think I knew Mr. Dura as a child. His mom was that Daisy Dura?
Yes.
Okay, I grew up on Graham, so I remember. I was Morgan then.
Oh, Thomas Morgan is your brother.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in 100 years. We'll have to do something about that.
Something like that.
All right, next we'll have Mr. Fulton.
Mr. Fulton, it looks like you may be speaking, but we can't hear.
You all needed me to say something?
Oh, yes, we're self-introducing.
I'm having a problem with my sinus, and so I'm not hearing too good today, but I wouldn't stay away from the meeting. But now, what am I supposed to introduce myself to the new members?
Yes.
Okay. I grew up in Kerneyville, farm boy, went to Carver, proud Aggie, and glad to be working with this committee and on the history of Winston.
Yes, I'm vice chair. I'm Jane Penn. I'm a native of Winston-Salem. I'm number 5 out of 8 children of Rosa Flowers. I worked in the school system, Winston-Salem, Forsyth County school system as a teacher assistant for over 20 years. I enjoyed working with students and sometimes classroom teachers. I retired in 2013. I love writing. My pen name is Jane Panay. I had a poetry corner for the Chronicle, Winston-Salem Chronicle, for several years. I love people. I love Black history. If people knew the things that we did, they would just really rejoice. And so I'm enjoying being a part of the African American Heritage Council, and I hope I'm able to do a good job. Thank you. And I think does that conclude our introduction? Well, what about the other member? part of the director and a council. Do you want to say anything? No? Yes?
Sure. We can have the staff to self-introduce as well. My name is Wanda Allen Abraha. I'm the director of the City of Winston-Salem Human Relations Department. And our primary focus is to investigate claims of discrimination that violate fair housing law. We also mediate landlord-tenant complaints, and we do a lot of community relations and cultural diversity outreach. And so we have 4 advisory boards that we work with, and AAHI is one of the 4. And so happy to be here and welcome to the new members. I have Iris, Adolfo, and Carlin from staff up here today, and I would just ask them to self-introduce very quickly as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carlin Duncan. I'm the intake specialist for the Human Relations Department, as well as the secretary for the AAHI initiative. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me.
And I am Iris McKnight. I am one of the mediators. Nice to meet you all.
I guess Wanda, I would be last.
I'm sorry, Kelva.
It's all right. I'm here, though. I'm good. I'm Kelva McKay, or Kelly McKay. I am the Community Assistant Liaison for the East Ward, working for Council Member Annette Scipio.
And I'm Adolfo Brasino, and I am also the other fair housing investigator and mediator on staff, along with Ms. Iris McKnight. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
And we have other city staff up here, but you're going to hear from them farther down the agenda.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to 5. We're going to do committee updates.
Oh, Ms. Jane, you were, the next item was to discuss officers, because I know it was mentioned at the last AAHI meeting that you all wanted to wait until the April meeting to discuss officers, because right now, currently there is no chairperson, which is why you have been gracious enough to fill in to preside over the meetings for the last couple of meetings. And so the AAHI has a chair and a vice chair. And so you all wanted to discuss that at this meeting.
All right, let's get started. Does anyone want to start off the discussion?
So do we have the capacity as the group to select our chair, or do we have the capacity just to select the vice chair?
You can do both, Ms. Johnson.
Okay. So Ms. Penn has done such a great job as the vice chair and chairing our meetings. I see her trying to shake her head, but thank you so very much for letting me put your name into nomination to be the chair, and subsequently Ms. Wilson to be the vice chair.
And I would have to decline.
I decline also. I think Ms. Wilson would do a good job as the chair.
If I had not just recently accepted another chairmanship of another major event, I would probably consider it. But with knowing what I've got to do for the rest of this year, I cannot accept that responsibility. I would like to nominate Joycelyn Johnson as our chair.
Oh, ma'am.
What was that? Was that a sigh?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was me, Ms. I'm sorry, Ms. Wilson. That was, for me, that's a no. Thank you.
Jane, if you would, I would be willing to serve as co-chair, Jane, if you would accept the other, but I cannot accept the chair unless there's someone else.
Ms. Wilson, I really decline that position. I would continue to be a vice chair, but I have a lot of projects that I'm working on as well.
and Ms. Dark is not here, and we can't speak for her. We're kind of at an impasse, I guess.
Well, Mr. Scales was the other original member who's been active. He and Ms. Dark were the other two original members, is that correct?
Yes. Well, Miss Williams.
And Ms. Williams, I'm sorry.
Has not been able to participate recently.
And speaking for myself, I would definitely have to decline it because I'm so busy elsewhere about city government right now and with the school system.
Well, Miss Cynthia, I know you're new, but would you be willing to assume that responsibility? And we definitely would support you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Yes, I would be honored to do so. I accept. I did share a whole department, and so I think that this would be wonderful. I'll need some help at first, but I would love to serve the committee as chair.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So do we need a motion?
To accept to accept the volunteer suggestion for chair? I'll make that motion.
I second.
What they said was wrong?
So they just told me if I could stop by the office.
We now need a roll call vote.
Excuse me, I didn't get that. We're making, they made a motion for what?
I make a motion that Dr. Villa Gomez is the chair of the AAHI.
Yes, okay. So did we get a second? Did we get a?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so it has, we need to do a roll call.
Yes.
Okay.
Vice Chair Penn?
Yes.
Hold on. Mr. Dara?
Yes.
Mr. Fulton?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Scales?
Yes.
Ms. Bella Gomez?
Yes.
And Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, so a motion has been made and properly second that Ms. Cynthia Bella Gomez is now the chair of the African American Heritage Initiative Council, correct?
Correct.
All right. All right.
Yes, Vice Chair Penn. So congratulations to Chair Villa Gomez. Now we just need for you all to vote on a vice chair. I know that there were two names that were brought up. We have Ms. Annette Wilson and Ms. Jane Penn, who both mentioned interest in being vice chair.
Oh, no. That was not how that went.
Did I hear that?
Yes, you did, Ms. Wilson.
No, what I said was, so I yield to you if you're willing to stay in that position.
So I'll move that Ms. Penn become the vice chair or remain the vice chair of the committee.
I second that.
All right, a motion has been made and properly second that Jane Penn will remain the vice chair of the African American Heritage Initiative Council for the year of 2021.
And now let's do the roll call vote.
And now we'll have a roll call vote.
Okay, Vice Chair Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dara?
Aye.
Mr. Fulton?
Yeah.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Scales?
Yes.
Ms. Villa Gomez?
Yes.
And Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Yes. So the motion has been made and properly seconded, and we now have Ms. Cynthia Bala-Gomez and as chair and Jane Penn as vice chair. All right, so we're going to move on, correct?
Yes.
Ms. Wanda, do we have any committee updates?
I am not aware of any, but I would defer to you all if you all have anything to share on behalf of the committees or the teams.
The only thing I have to share, and this may come from the technology committee, I'm not sure, but a committee member, Linda Dark, and I did work on a video for our upcoming orientation. So we have been, working on that, but I'm sure Mr. Bell or someone else from technology may have an update on that.
I am not aware of any other updates with respect to that.
All right, no additional updates. So next on the agenda is the director's update, Ms. Wanda. We have a inbox and public inquiries update.
Yes, none to report, Vice Chair Penn.
And community development department choice, choice neighborhoods.
Yes, and you all will recall at you actually may have touched on the choice neighborhoods item at the last meeting, but if not, then I definitely wanted to make you aware of the fact that the Choice Neighborhoods program is interested in partnering with the AAHI. And my understanding, now this is a program that falls under the Community Development Department, and the staff person responsible for the Choice Neighborhoods is Hassani Mitchell. And he was going to try to join the call late today. And I see that he's not on just yet. But anyway, he is relatively new to his role. And I know that there are some grants and some initiatives that are going on under the Choice Neighborhoods program that he wanted to mention to you, because it would most likely touch on the neighborhoods collection team, because he's wanting to tie in with any historical information or any current information that may help him as he works on the Choice Neighborhoods grant. So Councilmember Scipio, I don't know if you may have any information or knowledge about that yet, but okay. So I just wanted to make sure that if anybody else could speak on it, they had an opportunity to do so. But hopefully Mr. Mitchell will join us before the call is done. If not, then I'll follow up with him so that he can bring more detail to you. But at the very least, I wanted to make you aware of the fact that this is a program that is going on with the city under the Community Development Department, and he is specifically interested in working with the neighborhoods team. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wanda.
You're welcome.
So next we have city staff updates. We have AAHI marketing updates, the virtual orientation. I think, did somebody mention that earlier? And
and I will defer to Mr. Frank Elliott, Deputy Director of Marketing Communications.
Good afternoon, everybody. Wanted to let you know that we have been pecking away at the scripts for the virtual orientation. The plan is still to have a virtual orientation that is a series of shorter videos that people can watch all in sequence and then go back and rewatch when they want a refresher course on a particular item. And we are good. The idea at some point was expressed of having some committee members participate in the orientation by helping present these videos. Just a reminder that the videos, as we discussed last meeting, are essentially going to be narrated PowerPoints, maybe a little bit of video at the beginning, but not a whole lot of on-camera presence required. So if there are specific committee members who are interested in participating, I will work with Wanda. We'll circulate an updated outline of what the orientation consists of. And if you see an item that you're interested in presenting, let Ms. Allen Abraha know, and we can slot you in. We are interested in trying to actually get these recorded in the first half of May. At the last meeting, it was decided that we would roll this out with Juneteenth. And so just to make sure that we get everything done, everyone has a chance to look at it, we can make edits, revisions as need be. I would like to have everything done by third week of May, end of May at the latest. Gives us a couple weeks to circulate them, make changes, and we're still good to go on our deadline. So I've written 2 of the 6 scripts so far, working on the 3rd today, and I hope to have those finished within the next 2 weeks. I'm sort of fitting them around other things that have more pressing deadlines right now. But we'll get those done, and we'll have an orientation.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Elliott.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Penn, earlier when I mentioned that Linda Dark and I had worked on one, I think I referenced Mr. Bell, but it should have been Mr. Elliott. Did you get the one that she worked on?
I did get the ones that she worked on, and I went back to refresh my memory of them this morning, and I was dismayed to discover that they have rotated out of the OneDrive that they were automatically sent to. And I don't know how that happened. I would think once it was on our OneDrive, it would be there. Something I haven't asked Larry Bell or any of those other folks who are more power users of OneDrive than I am. I'm the office Luddite when it comes to technology many times. But I may be that I'm going to have to ask you to resend those. And I had just saved the emails in my AAHI folder, thinking I could go back and pull the videos when I needed them. And I went back to look at yours and the ones with the name is escaping me, the other lady that Linda had interviewed. And lo and behold, I get this error message saying it's no longer on the OneDrive. I didn't know that they could fall off.
Well, I'm sure she still has that. And I don't mind working with you if you need narration for some of the upcoming scripts. I will be willing to help with that.
That'd be great. Awesome.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the AAHI update, submissions and partnerships.
Yes, and I will defer to Ashley Holmes from the Information Systems Department to provide any necessary updates about that.
As far as current submissions, we currently have 10 submissions through the public portal submission site. As far as partnerships, Wanda, were we going to get into what we discussed last hour, or are we going to wait till we get more information?
I think we decided we would wait until we received additional information about potential partnerships and so forth.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that then.
All right. The last thing, a few things on our agenda is the timetable calendars, timetable calendars, and the meeting reminders and other action items.
Yes, and Vice Chair Penn, the meeting reminder is, of course, that the AAHI meets on the first Wednesday of every month, and the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May the 5th, and it will be virtual, Zoom again. And as in terms of any action items, I didn't know if anyone may have any questions or comments or feedback about any of the previous items discussed, particularly the virtual orientation or any of the updates in terms of submissions that have been received.
This is kind of a mixed piece, but Mr. Elliott, can you talk a tad about the Winston-Salem portraits piece for this weekend, and if there are installations that AAHI might be able to work on for whenever the next Winston-Salem Portraits piece occurs. There is a website that the city has that's Winston-Salem Portraits.
Ms. Johnson, that website is winston-salemportraitproject.com.
For individuals who may not know, can you just talk a little bit about what that is?
That is that's not a city website. That was set up by the artist, believe it or not. And the Winston-Salem Portrait Project is a piece of public art that was commissioned 3 years ago by the City and County Public Art Commission. And they are having their unveiling on Saturday. It's a virtual unveiling. It's going to be televised on TV 13, on our city YouTube channel. It'll be streamed live on our Facebook page. And that is at 9:30 on Saturday morning. The Portrait Project is a one-off. I don't know that there's another one in the works. It's a sculpture that comprises cubes with photographs of people in Winston-Salem drawn from all 8 wards. There was a host committee of 32 people who nominated folks to be in the sculpture. They wanted people that reflected the diversity of the city and its many interests, and I'm not sure what else. I'm not really that. I haven't been involved with the project until the past 2 weeks when marketing was tasked with creating this virtual unveiling, and I've gotten to know a lot about it in a short time. But I'm not an expert about it. The project, the purpose of the project, the Public Art Commission commissioned it because they wanted a project that would build community within the city while also reflecting the diversity of Winston-Salem. And so the artists went on this long process of bringing all these folks together, and they got to know each other, and they were paired with someone they didn't know before. They ended up taking portraits of each other. The artists doing the sculpture made a portrait of each new pair of friends, if you will. And those portraits of the pairs of people are what are on the sculpture. There's also 8 murals, one in each ward, that shows the people who live in that ward. Wanda, I noticed that your husband was on one of them, and when we were out shooting them the other day. And then there is what's called a participants exhibition, which is a temporary installation also in Winston Square Park where the sculpture is. And that temporary exhibition is of the portraits of the participants that they took of each other. So pretty ambitious and noble effort, I think. But I don't know, Ms. Johnson, that there's going to be another one per se.
Okay. And in the sense of collaboration, I think Creative Cards Coalition should be one of those groups that we could potentially work with as they look at the Peter Oliver story for Old Salem and what may occur along the Strowway. And certainly Peter Oliver, being an African-American noted from the Old Salem arena, brings vision to what happens not just with African-Americans in the East or Northeast, but also that particular South and Southeast quadrant of Winston-Salem.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Johnson and Ms. Elliott, for that information. And you said it's Saturday at 9:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
And like I said, that website is wsportraitproject.com. And there's a fair amount of information about it right now up, but that is that website was not created by the city per se.
All right. All right. Is there any additional business or comments before we make a motion to adjourn?
I have just a question. How do we, or maybe you all have already had some type of meeting, but how do we have 2 new members who seem to have a lot of interest in a new chairman. How do we have they been briefed to bring us up to what we're trying to do or what our mission was, or maybe Councilman Scipio's already talked with them, but you know, I would think that just coming in, they're probably like, well, what is it you all are trying to do?
Right. Ms. Wilson, I have spoken with our new members about the AAHI. So they have a fairly decent background. However, we have a new chairperson who I'm going to have to really work with a little more intently, so that to bring her up on some of the background information that's really critical. So I will get with her definitely before our next meeting and give her indoctrination to the city, meeting Ms. Wanda and understanding how we work as a team and to support the committee and to understand the different teams that you came up with.
Right.
And start letting her have her own ideas about how she thinks it should move forward. But I know Dr. Villa-Gomez is actually very excited about being on the committee. And the good news is that she brings technical expertise as a historian, a collector of history, and working with students. There'll be other resources that we probably will be able to tap into. So yes, I will be with her now that you guys made her chairperson. I hope she'll stay my friend. I want her on the committee, but now you guys put her in the big seat. So that's all good. I think it's nothing but grace, and we'll be moving forward beautifully with her leadership. She has a lot of resources and expertise she can lend to all of us as we want to be better in collecting the stories and the history of what went on here. So I think, so I will be in touch with her fairly soon to get that going, and with Miss Wanda, so we can really, they got their tote bags, by the way. They got their gift bag.
Okay.
And they got their notebook, and
they have to get their shirt.
They haven't gotten their shirts yet because we're out of shirts, but they will get their shirt. So they'll be totally indoctrinated by the time we meet again. So that'll be wonderful. So Ms. Jane Penn, I will also connect you and Dr. Villa-Gomez. We'll meet one day and have a thorough work session, okay?
That will be good.
Yeah,
that will be
so
good.
We'll all get on one accord.
I would just like to add my personal welcome to Mr. Dura and Dr. Villa-Gomez. The committee kind of got, I think, not off track, but we were just kind of caught in the midst of COVID and kind of lost our steam at the beginning. But I think as we plan for our orientation and know that that accept the fact that now we're in this virtual environment until be determined. So I think we have the enthusiasm. We definitely have a lot of knowledge and resources and information just among the members of this committee. And we know that in the community, there's, multiple times that. So I look forward to working with both of you on this committee. And if I can help in any way, please let me know.
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman Scipio and Ms. Annette Wilson for, making those comments. And we certainly are overjoyed with our new members, and so until our next meeting, and I just want to thank everybody for coming on and joining us today and helping us move forward. So we can have a motion for dismissal.
Before I make that motion, Ms. Penn, I do want to thank you, though, for stepping in, because I know it hadn't been easy for you either, and we appreciate your enthusiasm and willingness to step in that role. And now I will move that we adjourn.
Ms. Wilson, I thank you. You know, and I really thank you all for thinking that I can perform this task as vice chair. I'm going to do my best for 2021.
We know you can, we know you can, we know you can.
All right, Ms. Jocelyn. And so I'm going to make you proud. Without further ado, we'll need a motion to dismiss.
I already made that motion.
All right.
And I second it.
All right, Mr. Scales, we thank you until we meet again.
Need a roll call.
Oh, we're going to need a roll call to dismiss. I'm still learning.
It's okay. It's okay.
Vice Chair Penn,
Yes.
Mr. Darrell,
Aye.
Mr. Fulton,
Aye.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Scales,
Yes.
Dr. Villa Gomez,
Aye.
and Ms. Wilson.
Ms. Annette, you're on mute.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, Ms. Penn.
All right. So our meeting is officially adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.